Years from now, what I'm going to remember most about the pandemic is not a virus, but our response to it, our behavior, the way we now find it perfectly acceptable, even admirable to treat each other. We have become an intolerant, contemptful, rude, and savage society, online and off, more inclined, I think, to cut our relationships off at the knees than to massage the joints a little bit to keep them going. We threaten instead of persuade, mandate instead of respect, and we gaslight, scapegoat, and insult our targets into submission. It's hard not to remember the bold black letters on the front page of the Toronto Star last August that read, "I have no empathy left for the unvaccinated. Let them die." And this sort of language, of course, this sort of moral treatment of each other isn't anomalous. It's becoming more the rule than the exception to it. In fact, we're now largely a cruel, insensitive, morally bankrupt society. We are, it seems, being engulfed in an inferno of incivility. Our own Prime Minister fuels the flames, modeling the very sort of hate speech his Bill C-36 is supposed to extinguish. You will likely remember all too clearly last fall when he masterfully turned what should have been a campaign killer into a successful campaign promise when he said to the unvaccinated, "Don't think you're going to get on a plane or a train and sit next to the pure, acceptable citizens," who have turned out, of course, to be anything but. And instead of electing someone who might have led us up and out of this swamp of incivility, instead it seems we wanted a leader who would vindicate our rage and whose indefensible malevolence could be a model for, or maybe even a distraction from our own. True patriot love in all of us command? Apparently not. We have all become critics, and what Mark Twain had to say about the critic is that he deposits his egg in somebody else's dung, otherwise he could not hatch it. So I've been wondering, when did we all become so publicly and unapologetically savage under the guise of virtue signaling and woke terms like inclusivity, equity, diversity, which all sound great, but are masking what I think is terribly uncivil behavior? When did we start considering speech itself to be an act of violence? I also started wondering, well, what is our incivility costing us, both now and in the long term? And how do we reclaim what we've lost? How do we start to rebuild a society that is not just passively civil, but leads democratic behavior worldwide? So if you are interested in this issue, you can read my full essay, Canada's Inferno of Incivility, by visiting the democracyfund.ca publications. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider making a tax-deductible donation to the democracyfund.ca/donate.